Hi everyone, welcome to End of the World Weekly. Let me tell you how this show works. I'm Newsbot 29000. I'm a robot from the post-apocalyptic future. I've been programmed to send these broadcasts into the past in hopes that you Earth humans can avoid all the calamities that led to the end of the world. Okay, got it? Good. So let me tell you about some of your current events and how they spiral out of control and bring about the apocalypse. Last weekend, Trump claimed that Obama had Trump Tower wiretapped during the 2016 campaign. Monday, Trump said he wanted Congress to investigate his wiretap claims, hoping he'd get lucky and maybe they were true. After an exhaustive investigation, it was discovered that Trump Tower was indeed bugged, but it was just Russia keeping tabs on their new American president, looking for new and better ways to blackmail him, which of course Trump was perfectly okay with. He had to be. But then on Tuesday, WikiLeaks published a cache of documents detailing how the CIA was using all sorts of internet-connected smart devices to spy on American citizens. Could this have been the wiretapping Trump was referring to? Did the CIA have incriminating records of Trump discussing his favorite type of American businessman to take advantage of? Not exactly. After sorting through billions of hours of recorded conversations, the spy agency only learned that the American family was worried about the economy, preferred blondes to brunettes, and were uncontrollably excited to trade their hard-earned cash for heart disease. Trump wanted the FBI to support his made-up assertion that he had been bugged, but when FBI Director Comey refused, Trump threw a 3-day-long hissy fit and threatened to relieve Comey of his post. But Director of the FBI wasn't a position Trump could repeal or replace. On Wednesday, Comey said he planned on serving his full 10-year term. Plenty of time for the FBI to screw up the 2020 election and muddle things up again for the 2024 election before hitting the road. Monday night, poachers snuck into a zoo in France and murdered one of the 3 rhinos living there. The poachers sawed off the rhino's ivory horn and escaped without being caught. Rhino horns were extremely valuable to the dumbest of rich people, who believed anyone who ingested the powdered ivory would become their love slave. But what would actually happen, once consumed, was a severe case of stomach cramps followed by days of diarrhea. Just shit everywhere. Not exactly the most romantic couple of days. Probably not the best way to set the mood. Except maybe the rich assholes paying for it were into that sort of messy thing. Wednesday was International Women's Day, and women across the globe were encouraged to participate in the Day Without a Woman strike. Sales of cupcakes and kitschy knickknacks were at an all-time low as women ditched their shops and boutiques to stay home or march in a protest. Whereas productivity, NASCAR viewership, workplace fights, and sales of Monster Energy drink had all never been fucking higher. And that brings us to our Alternative Facts of the Week segment. Let's get started. Alternative fact number 1. Jim Davis had to clarify that Garfield was male after a Twitter user read an old interview with the cartoonist and misinterpreted a quote. Besides the fact that Garfield was made by a 71-year-old white guy, the Twitter user should have known that Garfield was male based on the giant cat penis the cartoonist included in every panel. Alternative fact number 2. After a tumultuous campaign, in which Lindsey Graham had to change his personal cell phone number because Trump gave it out because he has always been, and will always be, a gigantic baby, the 2 Republicans swiped right on each other last weekend and exchanged phone numbers after a short bit of foreplay. Alternative fact number 3. A Florida frat was suspended after a member put a gun to a blindfolded pledge's head. But if the pledge was blindfolded, how did he know it was a gun? Because the pledge had x-ray vision, that's how. Alternative fact number 4. For a deep down clean in the kitchen, rub down your countertops with raw chicken. Alternative fact number 5. Daylight saving time started early Sunday morning, and Americans ambitiously sprung forward to get an early start on sitting on their couches all spring and summer. That does it for this segment of Alternative Facts of the Week. If you have any alternative facts you'd like to hear on the show, leave a comment and I'll talk about them next week. In an interview with CNBC Thursday morning, the new head of the Environmental Protection Agency, Scott Pruitt, denied that there was any link between carbon dioxide and climate change, saying that there was tremendous disagreement about the degree of human impact, and that you Earth humans needed to continue the debate. Apparently referring to the debate between common everyday dum-dums and those damn know-it-all scientists. At the end of the interview, a lobbyist from Big Oil and Gas handed Pruitt a large sack with a $sign on it. Unfortunately, nobody ever learned what was inside of that bag. 2 Indianapolis brothers punched a girl in the face for objecting to their passionate makeout session. Thursday night, the brothers ate some psychedelic mushrooms and smoked a little weed before stripping completely naked and just fucking going at it in their apartment complex's dumpster. The girl tried to break up the incestuous duo, but got caught in the flurry of arms, tongues, and other body parts that were just flopping around all over the place. The sexual tension between the two brothers had been building for over 20 years, and when it was finally released, the entire city awoke the next morning to find it had been blanketed with a sticky white rain during the night. On Thursday, Egypt's Antiquities Ministry announced the discovery of a 3,000-year-old statue of Ramses II found in Cairo. Ramses hid the 20-foot-tall statue when he left Earth with his alien entourage and said he would return once it was found. Several thousand followers of the ancient Egyptian religion eagerly awaited the pharaoh's return and the age of peace and prosperity that he would bring with him. But in the 3,000 years since his departure, the former pharaoh had become a shell of his former self. After a couple millennia of hard partying, the one-time half-god was in no condition to lead a birthday party sing-along, let alone an entire kingdom. Well, that does it for this episode of End of the World Weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a comment here or on our Twitter feed. Any comments or tweets will be incorporated into the scrolling text at the bottom of the screen in next week's episode. Also, please share your alternative facts in the comments section, and I'll mention my favorites in next week's episode. Thanks again. Bye!
Delicious.